Last Friday, a petition that was filed by the Law Society of Kenya challenging the legality of creation of the chief assistant secretaries in different ministries. That petition, the ruling came on Friday by High Court, giving nod for President Uhuru Kenyatta, for President William Ruto to appoint the CAS. That set a stage for now what is seen as lobbying, massive lobbying by different sectors while interests play. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to interrogate deeply the value addition of the positions, but let us get to interrogate that well, we also need to look at the interests at play, why Rigathi could be clashing with his boss. These chief administrative secretaries are the traditional assistant ministers, but they were very powerful positions. And these positions were created first in 2017 by Uhuru Kenyatta to reward his loyalists. So it's not something that started with William Ruto. From the 5,000 applicants, Public Service Commission shortlisted 224 to battle for the 21 slots. Remember, each per ministry. So because we have 21 are going to be, we're going to have 21 CAS, even though I understand that it could be more. I don't know how, because some ministries also have many departments than the other. They will be working with the different ministries. Before we look at just a snippet of who and who is there, I want to still ask you first, if you're watching this video and you've not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell and also like our video. I also want to say thank you very much. Asanteni sana for those who are subscribing and helping us grow this channel. We do this and we believe that we grow together. Some of the notable names in that list is Obado, Ongwae, Kidero, Omanga, Ngirishi, Itumbi, Malala, Waruguru, Jagwa, Mariga, Margaret Wanjiru, Chris Wamalwa, amongst others. The names are many. Now look at this tweet. Ahmednassir did a tweet and said, "Patriotism or grand scheme to steal." What do you think? Is it patriotism or it is grand scheme to steal? Some of the linkages, these positions are political positions and they will be serving more political optics as far as maybe government is concerned. The winners are crystal clear. Those who are going to be picked as crystal clear. Forget about the interview shenanigans. All those are just for the formality. But William Ruto and Rigathi-Gachagua, or rather let me say William Ruto, knows very well who and who he's going to pick in different ministries. Now, this is the crack between. I want you to look at the crack, and this is the interesting bit of it. When Ruto and Rigathi are reading from different scripts, and the weekend statement by Rigathi when William Ruto was in Addis Ababa, that they will give positions to those who fought and campaigned for William Ruto, was just to quell and to tell off some of those they consider as latecomers. And they were just saying that. So DP reads purely on two grounds, according to what has been making in public. Political expediency, in terms of who voted for who voted for us, where, that. First is who voted for Kenya Kwanza. Number two, if that person comes from Mount Kenya, not even Rift Valley. Those are the two pillars of Rigiji. Kwanza ulitupigia kura, but two, he's also pushing more for Mount Kenya, even though let's give credit nowadays. I think he has toned down on the Mount Kenya question. Even after bringing the Jubilee win, Rigathi found himself still in some very difficult place, because the team came, and as much as they were saying we endorse Rigathi as the kingpin, but in real sense they are caucusing around William Ruto. I'm saying that because wakati Ruto hakuwa, not even the Jubilee wing, the Jubilee leaders accompanied Deputy President in his visits in the Rift Valley. He was not even there with a single member of parliament from the Mount Kenya. So that team is understood to be going because their interest, Rigathi-Gachagua doesn't have their interest. The person of their interest is former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. That on Ruto, on Rigathi, it's very simplistic on those two grounds. Umetupigia kura, number one. Number two is from Mount Kenya. Now, on William Ruto, there is a lot in his plate. I saw, I think, a newspaper article by, I think it was Nation, talking about battlefronts. Now, Ruto has a lot of interest, and these are the interests on table. Number one, there is a demand to make sure you don't repeat the cabinet blunder in the PS. Remember, we were all saying that in cabinet in the PS, it went to the two tribes. Even though someone was saying it went to two tribes and every county is represented, but I don't think that. It went to the two tribes. Majority went to the two tribes. Now, on this one, they are also struggling to show regional balance. This is an article, I think there is an article of a constitution that speaks about regional balance. So the need for regional balance is already at stake. I have seen Makueni asking why they don't have any name. I cannot confirm whether I'm not seeing any, but that is already people already asking. So Ruto must or is supposed to try tone down, because lately they've also been speaking about the unity. So the unity question will not hold spark if in such appointments the regional balance will be trashed. The other second thing in William Ruto's table is these are also opportunity to please campaign machineries on even financiers or catalysts. For example, it is not a secret that Malala and Sakaja played a big role in the earthquake movement. Now, Sakaja became the governor. Malala has still not yet got an opportunity. You need to make sure that you work with the people who supported you. In fact, of people who supported William Ruto that deserves, Malala is really, for me, I vote for Malala. Secondly, look at Itumbi. He gave it all, even stage managing an abduction, to abducting himself to just draw the sympathy and draw and work on the social media campaign. So there are people that you want to reward. And the other challenging thing here is Ruto must or should implement the Kenya Kwanza power sharing deal. The affiliate parties, UNC must have someone bringing forth Ford Kenya. I don't know then Chris Omalo is going to survive this, because if it's to get something under Ford Kenya, then Chris Omalo needs to be somewhere. So the lobbying is going on. Remember, lobbying is taking different shapes. I was just speaking to someone who was telling me, Kevin, it's taking even money. Some of this, there are some people, especially people from my place, will easily get it if they bail their way through making personal fortunes to the big boys. So it's not just as easy as we did this and that. So that's one thing. The three aspects are Ruto's table: regional balance, reward campaign machineries, and also implement power sharing deal. Because of these interests, I'm getting worried of one thing that Ruto must see. The high profile interests that are influencing these peaks may make that office to falter. The office of Chief Administrative Secretary is likely to falter because of this, for reasons. Number one, they may take an obstructive discourse instead of facilitative. What am I saying? Many of them will come to obstruct, because I believe they should be facilitative to Waziri. But they can, I don't know, they can attend cabinet on behalf of Waziri. But between minister and PS, I think CAS is somewhere in the middle. ama ako chini ya, ama ako at the same level. Maybe we'll see how maybe they're going to work. But many of them, I believe, if we were to inject someone into a ministry now, taxpayers' money are going to be spent. We are going to pay the salaries around 738,000 with very hefty allowances. Then there should be value addition. They should not come there to be another minister or assistant minister just talking on behalf of ministry and doing other errands. They should be extension officers. And for Ruto to utilize some of these fellas, let them work under the PS. Let them not be above the PS. Otherwise, you're going to put pressure on the PS. There are two people who have to serve, because CS will deem themselves as assistant ministers, and some of them have a lot of entitlement, and I want to tell you why I believe they should be under the permanent secretary. They should not be between the minister and the PS. The reason why that is important, otherwise they become obstructive, is because some are taking political credit for installing the government. They campaigned under William Ruto. So they believe that this government is here because of us. Someone like Malala. They worked, and of course they worked for it. So because of that sense of entitlement, they may lack synergy with their bosses, especially if their bosses are from the academia or from, their bosses are not politicians. Look, for example, the Minister of East African, I think the one who is in charge of East African community, Miano was in Kengen. Kengen was private sector. So when that group comes into government, they come with, they're not the political type. Look at the minister in charge of health. She's from the private practice. So much of that, when they come into office and then they clash with the politicians, because I can tell you, CS chief administrative positions are just political linkages between William Ruto and William Ruto himself and these ministers, in these ministries. So in any case, a CS is going to collude with PS, as what Nani is saying, as what the good lawyer is saying, then the person that is coming to be the link of president is the CS. And that's why I also believe that must be careful, otherwise tumelekuja tu hapa watu waibe pesa, because they're going to be planted in the ministries. If you ask me, they are the spies of the president in those ministries. Meritocracy is trashed, but because some of these leaders will be angling for political visibility, they would be the political link. And how I wish it doesn't get that direction, because it's going to affect even service delivery. We need to ask ourselves, in the last regime, we had CS. What was their value addition in those ministries? We need to ask that question. Probably in my next analysis, we'll have to look at that. But give us also what you think.